Good.
The exit C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
What do you expect from not just MJ Stewart, but all of your safeties?
Yeah, I think we have a collection of veteran guys back there between MJ and Miles and Jay Mills and those guys. So expect them to do what they've been doing. They've been preparing. All our guys prepare to be ready to play and start. And those guys are veteran professional guys that have been doing that all year. So anticipate those guys, whoever we have to deploy, plugging in and giving us their best.
I got another one. Sting hasn't practiced last couple of days. Tremont stepped in for you last week. What did you see from him when Tremont went in the game, and what do you kind of expect from him if he winds up being out there Sunday against Titans?
Yeah, Trey did a great job for us, man. I mean, again, same answer in terms of guys preparing and being ready to go when the number's called. We know just obviously from his special teams work, I mean, he can run and he's a physical player. He showed up, he tackled well, he covered. I mean, I think anytime a backup corner goes into a game, like they're going to test you on some deep balls. And I mean, listen, Trey can run. So he managed to handle those when they were kind of coming at him and made a bunch of plays and made a big play on the end of the half there on the quick game stuff too. So did a really good job. Again, another guy that's been prepared as a professional. And if he plays for us again this week, he'll be ready to go.
Is he the fastest guy on the team?
Oh, I can't answer that, man. We got GPS numbers. He's pretty fast. I don't know I'm gonna offend somebody else if I say yes. So he's one of. How's that sound?
Coach, what have you seen on film when it comes to Cam Ward?
He's a good player. He's got a lot of talent. Really good arm strength. I mean, just can make all the throws. Really, he's got quick release and it's pretty live off his hand. Really good on the move, sort of weather design. They do a lot of design, moving the pocket stuff for him and get him on the run and some boots and some keepers and things like that. And is really accurate on the move as well, which is tough to defend sometimes. And then also just sort of broken down plays and trying to make things happen after, second play. So similar to some of the guys we played in the last couple weeks, even a couple weeks ago in terms of just like having to defend through the second down. I mean, because he can get out a lot of ways and escape. And frankly, we've given up a couple quarterback scrambles the last couple weeks in some critical moments. So in terms of rushing as a unit and trying to keep him in the pocket and not let him get to those things. I mean, they're going to design some plays to get him on the move. But even when it's a drop back game and he gets out, he's really good on the move and outside the pocket. So whether those design boots and keepers or just him making plays and getting out, we got to try to make sure we try to contain him when he does that. But really live arm and a really good athlete at the position.
Overall, the defense has played very well over the first 3 weeks, but one of the issues it seems to keep showing up is tackling. How can you all improve on that?
Yeah, I think that's just week to week. I wouldn't say that we were that deficient last week necessarily. It's just the same every week. Again, we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum in here in terms of, we got to sort of practice within the rules of the system and there's not really a lot of live situations like that. So for us, it's about, techniques in terms of at the contact point and then really just tracking. And again, a lot of our missed tackles have been bad angles or overrunning things on cutbacks, bless you. And that sort of thing. So just training on, when we do get work in practice, being in the position to make those tackles. Again, a lot of times you're just out of position or behind plays and things like that. So we just continue to drill that and hope our athletes can show up when it matters.
When a team changes a play call, sorry, back here.
Sure.
When a team, I know it's bright. When a team changes a play caller, like Tennessee has done, does that matter in your preparation, given the system is probably the system?
Yeah. I would just say it's probably I don't think the plays are changing. I don't think also they're going to just be running some crazy stuff off the cuff. But I just, your tendencies probably change. Again, you're basing certain tendencies on how a play caller calls things and at what times he likes certain plays, and maybe that changes. I've known Bo for a long time. I worked with him in Miami. He's a good coach. So they'll. I think for us, it probably comes back to it, which I feel like I guess sometimes I'm a broken record up here. Like it leans into like, hey, you don't know how those are going to play. I mean, we're expecting the plays in the offense to be same, and just of when those plays are deployed and how they're called. So for us, it goes back to, man, they can call whatever they want, and we got to be on our techniques and playing our calls. It doesn't necessarily matter where they're getting to. So, but yeah, it'll just probably be a little bit more sort of real time feel for how the game's being called, not necessarily what's being called.
No, sometimes game day, the roster crunch can leave a guy on the outside looking at him. You guys had Tommy Togiai this past week. What does he bring to the table when he is in there? And does he give you something that maybe some of the other defensive linemen don't have?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at a baseline, the decision to bring Tommy up last week was just we thought it was going to be kind of a run type game and a certain type of run that those guys run. The variety stuff we talked about in last week's press conference, and Tommy's really good in those situations. And honestly, he played exactly like we thought. Like stopped the runs, played some screen game well. Like just does a really good job. I mean, all the things I feel like I see sometimes you guys have been asking about Tommy for through the course of the offseason, and it's always the same answer. He's consistent, he's steady, he does it right. And sometimes when you're playing a team that has a lot of just variety of runs, a lot of stuff going on, you just need those kind of steady, consistent guys. And he made a bunch of plays for us. And if his number's called again, he'll answer the bell again. I mean, we have a very talented D line, and those decisions are made week to week in terms of who we think is going to help us win the game best in that situation. So Tommy did a really good job for us, and he'll do it again next time he gets to play.
Coaching your defensive and you all's defensive unit, you all, the plays that are called, you all move as one. How, if one person is, maybe out of position, or if one person is doing their own thing, can that throw the entire defensive scheme off?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys, everyone wants to have scapegoats. I mean, I would say this, like, yeah, our defense, it's any team, right? You guys, everyone talks about football's the ultimate team sport, right? And there's a reason that we say that. And so regardless of what's happening, like, yeah, if someone's off or not off or on, then yeah, it's obviously going to throw your defense off. But it's never one person's fault. Like, it never is, guys. Like, there's plays that happen, and you guys see, a DB beat down the field, and, oh, my God, that guy got beat. And it's like, well, you know what? We called the pressure, and the pressure didn't get home. And that guy didn't blitz hard enough. So you guys see that thing happen, but that happened. I mean, it's as much that guy's fault as somebody else's. And, or hey, we can't bring a pressure. We have to just rush forward. And guess what, DNs, you're going to get chipped this game or this play because we have to dedicate more to coverage. And you guys see someone getting blocked and he doesn't get a pressure. And I get a question asked about why isn't he pressured more? Well, you know what? We asked him to have a hard down because we had to play more coverage that week or that play or whatever it is. So, it's never one person's fault, whether we give up a play or a score or whatever's happening. It's always tied in. And everybody in our defense has a hard down. And play to play, like, we make calls, and as coaches we make those decisions to say, hey, man, I can't help you here because I got to help him. And next play maybe something else. And that's how the game goes. And we know if we're asking someone to have a hard down, then the people that we're giving the help to or putting in a good position better make those plays. And sometimes you guys don't see all that stuff. Again, it's never one person, and it's never one guy's fault or this or that. It's a collective unit as coaches, as players at every level. And if we're in conjunction and we're riding together and working right, then it's going to be pretty fucking good. Excuse my language.
With Darrell Taylor healthy and off injury report this week, would you expect him possibly getting back?
Yeah, same question as all those guys. I mean, again, we have decisions to make with the roster. Those aren't my decisions. And as we move forward through the week in terms of how we're going to deploy guys and play, like, those roster calls are made in terms of active. Again, we have a very talented roster, heavy in some positions, and those decisions have to be made. So, again, DTs is similar to Tommy. If he gets his number called, then he'll be ready to go.
Kamari hasn't played a whole ton without. Kamari hasn't played a whole ton without Sting on the field. If Sting can't go, does anything change with his preparation?
Nope. Go play corner. Go cover people for us, hopefully, and hit people, and hopefully not smack his head too much. Cool.
Thanks,
Coach.
guys doing okay? Let's go. Beautiful Thursday. Hope everybody's having a good one. And then can't wait to be back home at NRG. Of course, the Tennessee Titans had to hire the legend, John Bones Fossil. So we know that with going against Coach Fossil that, man, you have to be the sharpest team on the field because they are always prepared, always sneaky, always ready to challenge your leverage, challenge your discipline. And he's been doing that as long as I've been alive. So, we have to we've got to make sure we play with great detail and discipline this week, find a way to start the game on our terms and make sure that every time we stand up to their size rushers, their size coverage players, and anchor and really play with really good fundamentals and physicality because the Titans tape, it jumps off the tape with how physical they play. So I'm excited for the opportunity to get ourselves going here. Take questions.
Last year you got him on the fake punt. You said you kind of sniffed it out when you ran it with the Cowboys. What is tape study like with him, someone that kind of fearless approach, and do you expect that fearless approach to increase given the fact that they're desperate for a win just like y'all?
Yeah, I don't really think that that should play into how they are. To me, like, you only coach to be within your stuff. When you start reaching, then it's then things go haywire. It might buy you a few moments of like, oh, we can really do that. No, that's like, what are your core values? And that's their core value is, his has been, he's willing to try things. And for us, we know that they've added Johnny Hecker, who is the ultimate 26 career passes as a punter. Like, he's the ultimate weapon as a punter. So we definitely have to be prepared for that. And all while we want to play aggressive. Like, again, we want to start the game on our terms. We want to play aggressive. So it shouldn't change our rules. It just challenges how hard you can stay locked in and focused on your rules and how you play, whether it's a gimmick or just sound football all around. So for us, that may come into play, but like the game between the whistles, between the white lines, you got to win your one-on-one matchups. That's never going to change either. So we just got to make sure we're playing within the scheme, within the rules, and aggressively on our terms.
A couple of shorter punts for Tommy in this most recent one. Was that just a couple of mishits?
Well, I think, if anybody was on field level, I think a couple things. First off, it was swirling pretty good. Whether you're choosing to kick with or against the wind, and then it's changing mid-quarter. So that's the job of a specialist, to be able to handle the elements and tailor your specific kick as you're going onto the field and get that as best you can. And it definitely drifted towards the Jaguars sidelines, and that on the one punt out of bounds, it left it kind of short or just right at that 20 when you're trying to pin him a little bit deeper. So, no one's going to question Tommy's leg strength. And that's one thing that has definitely been a weapon for him. And for him to just get back to the next punt every single time, it's a new entity when you go on the field, and just lock in on each one. So, has had a great start to the week, and we'll make sure that we get ourselves going there on Sunday at noon.
You have a personnel change like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, M.J. Stewart, the defensive role expands. How do you fill in for a guy like that?
Yeah, and I think I think we've said this before, a similar question with whether it's returners or it's always football players first, and we train there's no word of mastery for it, but you have to always be ready for things to happen mid-game. We lost Tremon Smith from special teams last week because Stingley goes down. Tremon's a core special teamer for us. So at any point in time, part of my job requirement of me is for the rest of the coaching staff is to be able to adjust on the fly. So it doesn't matter who it is, whether you're asking a question about MJ, maybe taking on a defensive role, that's going to be great, and he's going to go play, and he's still, MJ's a core special teams player, so we'll adapt where we need, and just knowing that my job every week from Monday through Sunday of the game day is to get all 70-some players that we have in our building ready to play football on special teams.
Coach, a lot of these teams have went to this knuckleball kickoff style. How hard is that to prepare for when you're going through your preparations?
Yeah, and I think there are kickers that are better or allowed to try to be more aggressive. The kid for the Los Angeles Rams he's got a true knuckleball. Some guys that kind of have a winding or just a lower drive hang time. Some guys are trying to lower hang and punch it, but their distance or I'd say your distance control is imperfect. So finding the sweet spot, it is hard to prepare for. You lower the jugs and off the live foot from your kicker, but you can't replicate every time how each opponent's kicker is going to do it. So if you're facing a lefty punter and you have a righty punter, you can't just punt it left-footed, as an example. So for us, I'm out there trying to replicate Johnny Hecker and hit different style of punts and banana footballs, which are when they spin inside outward, both directions. Whatever we have to do, but you got to study and you got to be ready to react and play football. And I think we've had this question before, but just playing center fielder, getting a good crack off the bat, and make sure you're there to jump it and then not let that ball get to the ground. That's the best way to attack those. Okay, let's go get a win. Thanks. Thank you.
Y'all doing? Good.
Look at the tape of the last game. Did you see some things where you're maybe on the cusp of something? What was kind of the big takeaway, big picture?
Sure. I mean, I think we've shown improvement. We had a good week of practice last week. Okay. I think that there were instances where I thought we had some nice, efficient runs. I thought there were instances where we were able to get the ball out. And then, the thing that we still have to do is clean up, the operation in terms of pre-snap penalties, turnover, stuff like that. So we're on a crusade to do that. That's the most important thing, and eliminating that type of football and allowing us to move forward. Still too many get back on track situations.
What do you lean on? This is your first time calling plays, but what do you lean on when you maybe have a stretch that isn't going well? Like, what do you harp back on?
Hey, you get back to fundamentals and you get back to your core plays. You know, being able to stick in efficient runs, being able to get the ball out of your hands, you know, at a relative quick pace rather, and you know, be able to play consistent football and move the ball forward. That's the key. So when you're in a rut like that, it's usually you're, you know, a byproduct of, you know, pre-snap penalties, turnovers, etc. And we got to start clean, and we got to start the drive that way too. Get the first down, and that's the focus. And drive starters, etc. Just like we do on Wednesdays when we come out here. You know, we're on a, you know, it's a race to get all those things cleaned up.
What experience do you draw from?
Just past, in terms of, like, you know, I could sit here, like I said, I think somebody asked me this a week or two ago, you know, last year with the Rams, for example, you know, didn't start off the way we wanted to, but it was about continuing our process. It was about focusing on fundamentals. It was about having cleaner practices, having more urgency at practice, and focusing on that, not being results oriented, but just focusing on getting better. And that's the thing we're doing, and we were off to a good start this week. So it starts there. If you practice better, generally speaking, you're going to play better.
So you haven't had any wholesale changes or anything after the slow start. It's still full steam ahead.
Well, I mean, sure, we look at what we can do. I mean, whether it's scheme or run types in certain games. I mean, it's all going to be relative to, you know, who we have out there, who we're facing, and stuff like that. Things that, you know, maybe have not worked as well in the flow of a game, we might get away from and try to get to some alternative runs and stuff like that. Or, you know, based on looks that you're expecting, and maybe you get a different look in a game, you'll alter and go a different direction at that point too.
When you talk about pace, Coach, are you talking about as far as maybe going to some no-huddle type stuff or just getting to the line quicker? Like, what do you mean by that?
In terms of pace, is that what you asked? I just think starting, yeah, there's a multitude. Starting with getting in and out of the huddle faster, which I do believe we've gotten better from week 1 till now. We've improved that. And then I think also pace of play, being able to, if we're going to mix in some tempo, which we did a few times here and there, being able to activate some of those things. But again, you got to be able to execute to sustain drives, to get the first down, to kick yourself into those kind of modes. And that's the biggest key is you know, fast execution and clean execution from the start.
Go ahead.
Can you just talk about the play of Tay so far, and if you guys have a plan to kind of help him out during the game?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, again, there's going to be ups and downs. He's been a consistently good player, and he's improved from the time he got here. So, are there things that we can do to settle some things out? Sure, there are. I would say for multiple people, and I can do a better job of that too as well. You know, I think he's starting even on Wednesday at practice here. You know, he's come back to work, and he's got a lot of upside in him, and we have a lot of belief in him. And it's just, again, it's not just him; it's all of us, and we're all in this thing together to just try to get better.
This system, it's been spoken of as kind of can be hard for players to pick up, at least based on past experience on it. And there's like a limited amount of success without Tom Brady running it. Why is this the right system to get C.J. Stroud back on track?
Yeah, I think. Well, again, this is our system. This is not a copy and paste New England Patriots system. Okay, if that's what you're alluding to, I'm asking. But relative to the system, I think everything we've done has been very intentional. To be able to cater it around our players, to simplify make the verbiage very, and we stripped everything down to the studs in the spring. So I think the thing that this system does is allow our guys to be able to have enough bandwidth and flexibility to alter schemes to fit the guys that we have from week to week, and that's what it does. Whether it's, again, in the run game, gap schemes, perimeter plays, zone, mid-zone, wide zone, like we can activate those based on who we're facing and who we have available. And I think from a language standpoint, you know, we've cleaned that up and from the time we got here.
Because Todd said it was the New England system. He said it looked familiar. Todd Bowles said it, and that's all I asked.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I asked. But with the process, it seems like how are you confident in the process if the results early on aren't playing out? In other words, like, do you go back and say maybe the process is the problem? It's not necessarily what's happening on game day.
Yeah, sure. We look at everything. So from a process standpoint, look, when we go out and we execute and we do the things that we're supposed to do out on the practice field or even in moments in the games this year, we've had success and done good things, and there has been efficient runs and there has been production. Okay, it just hasn't been to the level of, you know, being consistent enough. And I think, again, I believe in the process. I believe in what we're asking the guys to do. And we're going to evolve and change to do. We're not going to ever ask a guy to do something that we don't believe that they can do. I would never do that in any situation. So, you know, the focus is on just playing cleaner football, being more consistent, and if we can do that, I'm confident that you'll see results. I really am.
Going back to Tay, I think he said some of his struggles have come from staying mentally sharp throughout a game. I think he said that the Josh Hines-Allen play to end the game last game was kind of a result of that. How do you go about keeping a young player like him kind of mentally locked in throughout a game?
Yeah, I think, you first of all, you engage him, and Cole does a great job over on the sideline too. We have Cole and Jens do a really good job with the line, but being able to settle things down for him, be able to obviously help him, and then on the practice field, it's the same thing. Being able to put him in situations that are as game-like as possible to give him the confidence. Because for all of us, you get your confidence from going out and executing anything, and it starts, again, on the practice field. Like, you gain confidence by executing consistently at practice, and generally speaking, when you do those things, it carries over to the game.
If CJ, he was telling D'Amico that he can play better. What's your evaluation of CJ's play, the good, the bad, in between?
Yeah, I think we all can do a better job, and it's not just one person. And I obviously I don't know everything that CJ said, but what I can tell you is this: like, he's a competitor. Are there throws that he probably wants back? Sure. There's calls too, and you sit there and want a call or two back. There's plays that every other position would like back too. The biggest thing is just being able to refine those things, playing consistent. All right, it's not one person. It's not. We just got to go out and we got to play better again from the jump, and continue that throughout the course of a game.
How much do you pay attention to like other offenses and like the creativity some of them do? And I'm not suggesting you should do this, but do you feel like, I know you all haven't been able to get deep in your playbook because of the third downs, but do you feel like there are opportunities for this offense to do creative kind of funky things?
I do. I really do. And that's the thing. If we can stay on track, I think it makes it a lot more manageable in those situations. And not beating ourselves from the jump, and getting into second and longs, third and long situations and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely. I definitely do.
Coach, what is the communication and the organization between you and Ben McDaniels when it comes to putting together some of these route concepts? Because, of course, we play Monday morning quarterback. We go back and we look at the film.
Sure.
But it seems like sometimes that the wide receivers are in the same space. A lot of them are in the same space. So what is the communication like between you all?
I think it's collectively for our entire staff. It's not, pinpointed to one person. Relative to spacing, look, we're never trying to stack receivers on top of each other. Are there times with choice routes and in zone coverage where guys can move and adjust, and maybe it appears that way? Sure. But we're always trying. The biggest thing, again, to zone coverage and running routes is having depth and spacing, et cetera. So, I don't think we have an egregious problem by any stretch. Are there some where you turn on the film and you go, well, why is this guy drifting maybe inside closer to a hook player, or there's a basic coming behind him? Maybe, okay, but again, that's going to happen in terms of some zone distribution and where guys have spatial awareness and stuff like that from time to time. But I don't believe we have any major issue in terms of spacing. Is there things that come up from time to time? There might certainly be. But we build we build our passing game together as a staff, and I don't see any consistent problems in terms of the spacing that you're referring to.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.